Ladies and gentlemen, the first snapshot for the next major release of Minecraft is here. This is Snapshot 20w45a for Minecraft 1.17, the Caves and Cliffs update. This one contains a huge amount of new blocks and items, including amethysts, copper, lightning rods, spyglasses, tinted glass, bundles and candles, as well as changes to cauldrons, minecarts, mobs, and loads of other gameplay fixes, as well as bug fixes and technical changes. My name is slicedlime. I'm here to guide you through all the changes in this one, and strap in because this is a big one. We'll split all of these into sections because there's so many of them. Let's start with the new blocks and items and the amethysts. They're huge amethyst geodes that can be found anywhere underground in the overworld. Amethyst geodes have 3 layers. They have an outer layer of a new stone type called Tuff. The second layer is a new block called Calcite. And then there's a final inner layer of the various Amethyst Blocks. The Amethyst Block forms inside of the geodes are in 2 ways: blocks of amethyst and budding amethysts. On any side of a budding amethyst block where there's air or a water source block, you can get a small amethyst bud growing. Amethyst buds will only grow when attached to a budding amethyst and will grow until they become amethyst clusters. The clusters have 4 growth stages. They are small amethyst buds, medium amethyst buds, large amethyst buds, and amethyst cluster. The amethyst buds also give off a low level of light. You mine amethyst clusters with an iron pickaxe or better, and the result is 4 amethyst shards. If you have fortune, you can get more than that. 4 amethyst shards can then be crafted into amethyst blocks. You can also use silk touch on them to get the original amethyst bud, but remember that they only grow when they are placed on a budding amethyst block. Of interest here is that the budding amethyst block cannot be obtained or moved in any way. It has to stay exactly where it is. From the amethyst shards you can also craft a new type of glass. It is tinted glass. That is done by putting a glass block in the middle of a cross of 4 amethyst shards. Tinted glass is a new type of glass that does not allow light to pass through. Another difference from regular glass is that tinted glass can be obtained without silk touch. It does not shatter. Let's move on to copper. Copper ore can be found in ore blobs in the overworld, similar to iron and coal. Note that this is not the final way that copper will generate, but for now this represents how you get copper ore. You can smelt copper ore in a furnace or blast furnace to get a copper ingot. You can craft 9 copper ingots 3x3 into a copper block. You can craft that into stairs and slabs, and you can also craft cut copper by putting 2x2 copper into a crafting grid, and that also has stairs and slabs. Copper has a unique property: it will oxidize over time. There are 4 stages, starting with copper itself: lightly weathered copper, semi-weathered copper, and then weathered copper. It will take 50 to 82 Minecraft days, that is while the copper is in a loaded chunk, for a copper block to oxidize 1 step of the way. If you don't like this process, you can stop it at any stage by waxing the copper. That is done by crafting it with a honeycomb. Waxed copper blocks do not oxidize at all. A related new block is the lightning rod. The lightning rod is crafted from 3 copper ingots in a line, and you place it like you would place an end rod. The function of a lightning rod is to attract lightning. Whenever lightning is about to strike in a square area of 64 blocks away from a lightning rod, and the lightning rod has nothing above it, then the lightning will instead strike the block above the lightning rod. When this happens, the lightning rod will also give off a redstone signal. Combining both a copper ingot and an amethyst shard, you can create a spyglass. A spyglass is a device to zoom in. It is a way to see far away things. Another new craftable item in the snapshot is the bundle. A bundle is crafted from rabbit hides and string and can then contain other items. A bundle can hold a mixture of items, but only a stack's worth of item. That means that when you put an item into a bundle, it will take the same proportion of a stack as that item would take in a normal inventory slot. That means that if you take a full stack of something, be it a diamond sword or 64 cobblestone, that will take up the entire stack. And if you take half of a stack of something, say 8 ender pearls or 32 cobble, that will take half of the space in the bundle. You use right click to put an item into the bundle, or you right click a bundle over an item to put it into the bundle. You can then right click the bundle in the inventory to empty it, or use it as an item to empty this as well. The snapshot also contains candles. Candles are crafted from a string and a honeycomb. This gives you an undyed candle. You can also dye the candle to all 16 colors by crafting it together with a piece of dye. Once you have a candle, you can place up to 4 of them in the same block, but all of them have to be the same color. When you first place down a candle, it is unlit. You can light it with any normal method, such as a flint and steel. The more candles in a block, the brighter it will light up the environment. With this, you can also now place a candle in a cake. Candles are also waterloggable, but of course that will extinguish the light. Let's move on to other changes of blocks and items. Cauldrons can now be filled with lava as well as with water. Use a bucket of lava on a cauldron and that will fill it completely. When tested with a comparator, a filled lava cauldron will give off a redstone signal with a strength of 1. Together with this, a fix has also been done to a bug where blocks couldn't be placed normally if you were aiming at a full cauldron. Let's talk about minecarts. All rail types can now be waterlogged. This means that you can place a source water block inside of any type of rail. Flowing water no longer washes away rails. Minecarts can now also pass through water, but they get significantly slowed down. Changes to mobs in this version. Shulkers will no longer target other shulkers. However, if you manage to get a shulker hit with a shulker bullet, then that can create a new shulker. This is a random chance that depends on the amount of shulkers in the environment around them. A fix to the nether: baby piglins that picked up leather or food items didn't despawn, which means that eventually you would get a lot of baby piglins in the nether since leather and food items drop from hoglins. Baby piglins will now instead ignore leather entirely and simply eat the food. And a fix for skeletons: if a skeleton was riding a minecart, then it didn't burn despite being exposed to daylight. Let's talk about gameplay changes. Experience orbs will now sometimes merge when there are large quantities of them. This is a change done to improve performance, but it does not change the rate at which you can absorb them. It simply limits the amount of separate orbs floating around in the world around you. When 2 orbs merge, the lifetime of the resulting orb will be the most recently created one. This means that if you have a steady flow of new experience orbs, then they will no longer despawn. This fixes several problems with XP orbs causing severe lag, but also some gameplay related things where XP orbs would follow players even though they were dead. Grass paths have changed names. They are now called dirt paths, and you can now make them not only on grass but on any type of dirt. That includes glass blocks, dirt, podzol, mycelium and coarse dirt. And when pistons break blocks, you will now get particles. A number of world generation fixes in this version as well. Most notably, there was a bug in the blobs feature which caused basalt deltas and some other nether generation to look a bit wonky in Minecraft 1.16.2 and forward. That has been fixed in this version, together with a whole slew of tiny fixes to various structures, especially in villages. A couple of user interface fixes in this version as well. The most simple crafting recipe for fireworks rockets, where 1 gunpowder and 1 paper is crafted into 3 rockets, is now available through the recipe book. And the jack-o'-lantern has joined the other pumpkin type blocks in the creative inventory. Sound changes in this version. There are of course a large amount of new sounds. For all the new blocks, starting with Amethyst Blocks: breaking sounds, placing sounds, and step sounds. Sounds for amethyst clusters include breaking them, placing them, and the footstep sounds. For calcite, breaking them, placing them, and walking on them. For Tuff, breaking sounds, placing sounds, and the footstep sounds. There are new sounds for copper, including breaking sounds, placing sounds, and the footstep sounds. New sounds for candles, including the ambient crackling. Sounds for breaking them, placing them, for extinguishing a candle. Footstep sounds. And a sound for adding a candle to a cake with the subtitle Cake Squishes. There are 2 sounds for the Spyglass, for extending it when starting to use it, and for packing it away when you stop using it. There's also a new sound for riding a minecart underwater. In addition to this, a number of bug fixes, including burning items and XP orbs being in the wrong sound category, and a slew of fixes for the gear equipping sounds playing when doing a lot of unrelated non-gear equipping activities. Let's move on to all the technical changes in this version, starting with resource packs. The pack version format has been split apart. That means the data and resource pack numbers are no longer the same. The resource pack version has now been increased to version 7. A change to an existing texture has happened here. Round arm texture has been reversed by the model, so you'll get them backwards now, which means this texture now works like the other humanoid textures. Of course, grass path has renamed to dirt path, so you'll need to update that as well. And cauldrons with water inside of them are now called water cauldrons. Cauldron now refers to an empty cauldron, and lava cauldron refers to a cauldron with lava. There's a new texture that can be changed by resource packs as well, the Spyglass scope texture. Let's talk about particles. There is a new particle type in this version used by candles. It is called Small Flame. Loot table changes in this version. There is a new loot table function called Set Banner Pattern that takes 2 parameters: append, which is a boolean parameter, and if true, the new elements will be appended to an existing banner instead of replacing the entire set of patterns. And the other parameter is patterns, which is a list of pattern objects. Each of those has a pattern, which is the name of a pattern, like square bottom left or bricks, and a color name. One relevant bug fix for structures. When you load a structure using a structure block or a jigsaw, water sources in the structure would spread into waterloggable blocks, even through solid faces. That has been fixed in this version. Let's talk about tags. There are new block tags in this version. They are candle cakes, including all the different types of blocks that are cakes with a candle in them. There's a candles block tag containing all the standalone candle blocks, a cauldrons block tag, and crystal sound blocks. There are new item tags as well. Candles containing all the candles, ignored by piglin babies containing the items that piglin babies will not pick up, and piglin food containing the items that piglins can eat. Changes for servers. Servers can now require custom resource packs to be accepted by setting the require resource pack setting in server.properties. When you turn this option on, players will be prompted for a resource pack with the option to disconnect or accept the pack instead of accepting the pack or going on without it. And a last technical note, entities are no longer stored together with terrain chunks. They are now stored in a separate entities folder, similar to other things like the point of interest storage. Those new files are still region files with NBT data inside of them. They are just now separate from all the block and block entity data. And finally, a whole bunch of different performance and stability fixes have been done in this version. Now, speaking of stability, this is a testing version. The first snapshot for this version even. Testing versions are always more risky to use. So if you try this version, do so on a backup of your world or on a separate test world. Remember, any world opened in a snapshot can never be safely downgraded to a previous version again. If you want to try it out but you don't know how to, then click on the link in the iCard of the video or in the video description. I'll take you to a tutorial video about how to get and play a Minecraft snapshot. And that finally was all I had for you this time. I hope you found this comprehensive guide useful, and if you did, please help me out in return, leave a like and share it to your friends. If you want to stay on top of all the changes for Minecraft Java Edition, then please subscribe to this channel. I make update videos about every new snapshot, pre-release, release candidate, or full release. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all to get notified when the videos are done. My name is slicedlime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.